So guys, welcome to another gardening video on my channel. Spring has finally sprung. We here, and I'm gonna give you 10 crops that you can grow in September right now. So I'm gonna talk about veggies, herbs, flowers, whether you can direct sow them or if you need to transplant them. And then I'm also gonna give you, some companion plants that go really well with those crops. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you learn something. Spring is here. So the first crop that you can grow, and we have some examples right here, is beetroot. And you can see that they're starting to already grow here. They started to sprout. We have some younger ones here, and then we have some more mature ones over here, and then we have also some little ones over here as well, and some mature ones all together. Togetherness. They are next to the carrots, which is another one that you can grow in spring, and you can see that the carrots are also starting to really sprout. But focusing on the beetroot, so beetroot is a root crop, and basically with a rule of thumb with root crops is that they do not like to be transplanted. So they don't like to be grown indoors and then taken outdoors. They would rather be direct sown into the ground because they don't really do well with transplanting. And also make sure that when you are growing beetroot, that they have really nice soil so that the actual beetroot can expand, and that it's not too tough for them to grow bigger beetroots themselves, right? So yeah, just make sure that you're watering a lot. They also like a lot of water. Yeah, and it's a very easy crop to grow. It's always one of the first crops that grow, so I had to put it in there because for beginners it's a really great crop to grow, and it will also keep you motivated to keep growing. So good companion plants for the beetroot are radish, which we have right here, radish, beans as well, and then also lettuce. Next one, I have to say pumpkin. Look at how well these pumpkin have grown. They are volunteer seeds, so they just basically popped up through maybe me putting some pumpkin seeds over here and just leaving them. But basically they have been germinating. But then I also intentionally grew this one. So this one is in the right place, I would say. And this is basically in the pumpkin patch. And you can see I've really put it in a lot of space. I've allowed it to have a lot of space to grow. And that's one thing that pumpkins really need, is that they need a lot of space. They need to be able to expand basically into the whole garden. They just keep shooting out, and it just reaches out into the whole garden, and then the actual pumpkin starts to grow. So this one I would recommend that you definitely direct sow. You can obviously transplant them, but then I think it's just extra work. And also just make sure that you have a lot of space. Also, I would recommend that you companion plant these with flowers, because the actual pollination of the pumpkin can be tough. So if you help them with having extra flowers such as nasturtium, marigold, and then I would also pair it up with corn, because corn is a nitrogen fixing, so they also do really well with creating bigger pumpkins. And what I like about the two pairings is that you see I'm also going to do this in this patch here. On the floor it's going to be matted with pumpkin. So on the ground, that's where the pumpkin are going to be growing, and then above them, that's going to be where the corn is. So the corn will then basically grow up. It has thin stalks, so it won't really disrupt the actual pumpkin that is growing. So you can definitely pair them together really well. And also both of them require a lot of space, so they can really companion plant with each other really well. So talking about corn, a really great one. I'm so excited to grow corn this season. I grew it the first time last season, and it did so really well. It did so well. I have to grow it again. what I did was that I actually grew different varieties. So I grew the sweet corn, and then I also grew these rainbow colored ones, which was really, really cool. So, if you're going to grow corn and a lot of it, why not experiment? Why not try different varieties? So definitely with corn, you need a lot of space, just a lot, especially if you want a lot of corn, because you need to be growing a lot of corn seeds that you need to actually plant in order to get a lot of corn. So yeah, out of one stalk you could probably get maybe one or two, so you'd probably want to grow a lot of corn. One thing that I can recommend, don't plant them next to tomatoes. They don't like to be grown next to tomatoes. However, they like to be growing next to pumpkin, peas, potatoes, and marigold. So all of these, they won't disrupt the actual growth of the corn. And I just had to show you, these are the seeds that I grew. So we had the popcorn glass gem, and then we also had the baby corn as well. So these are the ones that I grew last season. I just had to show you. And they really, what I like about corn, it grows so easy. It grows really quickly and easy. Just make sure that you plant the corn in and literally just water, keep them watered. They will keep growing. So right now is the time to be growing corn. So the next one, and now we're moving to the real summer spring crops, which is watermelon. Watermelon, a nice one to start growing in spring right now. You'll have a nice watermelon in the summer that you can just, yeah. So basically with watermelon, you need a lot of spacing. But this one, I would then recommend that you trellis it. So basically, if you could have a trellis, and then on top of that, have maybe a netting where the watermelon actually sits, and then it won't be able to get exposed to pests and also diseases if it's left on the ground, right? I would just recommend that you do it on top. I've tried growing watermelon on the ground, and it wasn't too bad. I just think the success would be better if you tied it up on something, right? But again, you can definitely grow watermelon on the ground. I just think I would prefer it to be heightened a bit, even if you put it on like a table or something, just so that it's off for the diseases and the pests. So this one, just like with the pumpkin as well, you can definitely direct sow it. It doesn't have any problem with being direct sown, and you can also transplant, has no issue. Just depends on what you prefer. So what goes really well with watermelon? Sunflower. This one can really help with the pollination of the watermelon. Then we have basil. Basil goes really well with that. It will just help with the insects and things like that. Then we have radish. So radish, this one also will go really well because it won't disturb the watermelon. So you can grow a bunch of radish alongside the watermelon, and they will companionize each other really well. So cucumber, really, really nice one that grows. It's no mistake that I'm by the trellis, because you need to have a trellis with cucumber. This one, I would definitely recommend that you grow it up on a trellis and not on the ground. It's going to get overridden by pests, by diseases. It's just going to get eaten by all these things, right? So I would definitely protect the cucumber by using a trellis. Grow them up on a trellis. I would also just direct sow them. I would direct sow them so that that you don't have to then take them out and then put them by a trellis, that you can just literally put them into the ground by the trellis, and then they can start growing on that trellis. However, you can transplant if that is the best method for you. So cucumber goes really well with peas, and you can see, peas grow the exact same way as cucumber. They also need some support, so you can just literally grow and interplant them together. You can just have them all growing together within the trellis. They also go really well with radish. So that one, you see the radish, you can just grow on the ground here, like how I did. You can just grow some radish on the ground, and they won't disturb the actual cucumber. Then to have a flower that goes along with it, you can grow it with sunflower, and this one goes really well because sunflowers go really tall. So basically then you can just allow
the cucumber to just wrap around with that sunflower, and you can create a little, I don't know, a little partnership over there. Okay, so the flowers now. The flowers, we have some really nice ones as well. Some ones that I think some people would be really excited about. Nasturtium, really good with getting rid of pests. So cabbage really attracts a lot of diseases. So pairing them up with nasturtium does really well with that to get rid of those pests. Then we have marigold, a nice little pop of color. It attracts a lot of bees, and yeah, it will help a lot with pollination. Then for the herbs, we have basil, which goes really well with tomatoes, so that one you can really have nicely. And then we have coriander also goes really well. You can pair that to those two together really nicely. Yeah, and I would recommend flowers would be Cassania. So that brings me to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Guys, it's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time to be in the garden. Roses are rosing, seeds are germinizing. It's a beautiful time. So yeah, I hope you plant. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you next week for the next video. I love you all. Love, peace, grow every single day.